Let us start with Act 1, Scene 3 without wasting our time. Venice, a public place. Enter Bassanio and Shylock. Shylock, 3,000 ducats. Well, Bassanio, sir, for 3 months. Just we'll see how Shylock is irritating Bassanio by repeating the sentence 3 months, 3,000 ducats. Shylock, for 3 months. He knows very well it is for 3 months. Well, Bassanio, for the which, as I told you, Antonio shall be bound. So Bassanio says Antonio is going to be the guarantor. Shylock, Antonio shall become bound. Well, okay. Antonio is going to be the guarantor. Very good. Bassanio, may you aid me. Will you help me? Will you pleasure me? Will you satisfy me by giving the money? Shall I know your answer? May I know your answer for giving me or not? Shylock, 3,000 ducats for 3 months and Antonio bound. Shylock repeats the sentences. 3,000 ducats for 3 months and Antonio is going to be the guarantor. Bassanio, your answer to that? Shylock, Antonio is a good man. Here, Shylock doesn't give the straightforward answer. He says, Antonio is a good person. Bassanio, have you heard any imputation to the contrary? Why? Have you heard any against him, any other remarks against Antonio? Or any doubt you have against Antonio? Shylock, oh, no. My meaning in saying he's a good man is to have you understand me that he is sufficient. Shylock is saying he is a good man means I want to say that he is having lot of money to be the guarantor. Yet his means are in supposition, though all his wealth is in risk. He hath an argosy bound to Tripolis, another to the Indies. I understand, moreover, upon the Rialto here, the third at Mexico, a fourth England. So here Shylock names the places where Antonio's ships have gone, that is Tripolis, Indies, Mexico, England. And other ventures he has squandered abroad. And everywhere in the whole world, Antonio's ships are spread. But ships are but boards, sailors but main, land rats and water thieves and land thieves. I mean pirates. And that there is the peril of waters, winds and rocks. Though Shylock said that Antonio has enough money to be the guarantor and his ships are scattered everywhere in the world, but he finds the mistake in it. He says, after all, the ship is made of wood and the people are human beings. There are many thieves, many dacoits in the water. Sea pirates are there. And the ship is made of wood. So anything may happen. There are Inchcape Rock where the ship may get dashed. There is enough water where the ship may get drowned. So any accident may take place. The man is notwithstanding sufficient. After saying everything, again he says, whatever it is, in spite of all this problem, Antonio has lot of money. 3,000 ducats, I think I may take the bond. Okay, you want 3,000 ducats? Okay, I think I can give you the money. Bassanio, be assured you may. So Shylock at the end he says that Antonio can be taken as a guarantor. Bassanio said he must be sure that Antonio will be the guarantor. Shylock, I will be assured I may, and that I may be assured I will bethink me. Okay, I'll think about it. Let me be sure. Let me think over it. That should I give the money or not? May I speak with Antonio? Before giving the money, you want to speak to Antonio. Bassanio, if it please you to dine with us. Here Bassanio becomes little bit happy that at least he can get a chance to meet Portia. So he invites Shylock for the dinner. Shylock, yes, to smell pork. to eat of the habitation which your prophet the Nazarite conjured the devil into. I will buy with you, sell with you, talk with you, walk with you, and so following, but I will not eat with you, drink with you, nor pray with you. So what he says, that why should I go for the dinner with you all? To get the smell of the pork, where the devil is put inside by your Nazarite, that is Jesus Christ. He took out the devil from someone and put it inside the pig. He can do the business, he can share with them, he can talk with them, he can laugh with them, he can move around with them, but he can never eat, drink, or pray with them. What news on the Rialto? Who is he? Comes here. Antonio enters. Bassanio. This is Senior Antonio. Sir Antonio has come. Shylock, aside. How like a fawning publican he looks. I hate him, for he is a Christian, but more for that. In low simplicity, he lends out money gratis and brings down the rate of usance here with us in Venice. So here we find Shylock is talking to himself by saying that Antonio looks like a foolish tax collector. Shylock hates Antonio because he's a Christian, and more than that, he hates him because he gives the loan without taking any interest, which brought down the market price of Shylock, because Shylock is also a money lender, but he gives the money with interest. If I can catch him once upon the hip, I will feed the ancient grudge I bear him. He hates our sacred nation, and he rails even there where merchants most do congregate. Then he says that if ever he gets Antonio in a problem where he is in a trouble, then he will take out all his grudge against him. Because Antonio hated the nation of the Jews, he abuses him in front of the merchants in Rialto. On me, my bargain, Antonio criticizes Shylock's business and his hard-won money, which he calls interest, which, according to Antonio, is not a hard-won money, it is a profit. Cursed be my tribe if I forgive him. There will be curse on my race if I forgive that man. Bassanio, Shylock, do you hear? Shylock, I am debating of my present store, and by the near guess of my memory, I cannot instantly raise up the gross. So Shylock could not speak out, what he was thinking. So he said, actually, I was counting the money. At the moment, I cannot have so much money. A full 3,000 ducats he could not give him at the moment. What of that? Tubal, a wealthy Hebrew of my tribe, will furnish me. Never mind, if I don't have, I have a very rich friend who will supply me with 3,000 ducats, so no problem. But soft, how many months do you desire? But wait, for how many months? Though Shylock knew for how many months. To Antonio, rest you fair, good senior, your worship was the last man in our mouths. Then he looks at Antonio and says, okay, sir, we always take your name. Your name is always in our lips. Antonio, Shylock, Albert, I neither lend nor borrow, by taking nor by giving of excess, yet to supply the ripe wants of my friend, I'll break a custom. Antonio says, neither he gives the interest nor he takes the interest, but he's going to break his custom because his friend is in badly need of the money. To Bassanio, is he yet possessed how much he would? Then he asks Bassanio, Antonio asking Bassanio, does Shylock knows how much money Bassanio needs? Shylock, 3,000 ducats. Yes, he knows 3,000 ducats. Antonio. And for 3 months. Shylock. I forgot 3 months. You told me so. Well then, your bond and let me see. But hear you, methought you said you neither lend nor borrow upon advantage. Here Shylock acts as if he's forgetting everything, though he knows very well. He says, oh, I forgot. It was 3 months. Yeah, you told me before. Let me see about your bond. But listen, Antonio, what you said, neither you give nor you take any interest. Antonio, I do never use it. Yeah, I never do that. Shylock, when Jacob grazed his uncle Laban's sheep, this Jacob from our holy Abraham was, as his wise mother wrought in his behalf, the third possessor. He was the third. Now, children, here, Jacob is, you can say that he was the third successor of the Abraham, who was the founder of the Jewish race. And Laban was Jacob's uncle. So when Jacob could take the interest, as his mother had made a plan to give the whole kingdom to Jacob, if he can take, then why can't Shylock take? Antonio, and what of him? Did he take interest? Antonio asked, what happened? Why are you taking Jacob's name? He did not take any interest. Shylock, no, not take interest, nor as you would say, directly interest. No, not the interest as Shylock is taking. But mark what Jacob did. When Laban and himself were compromised, that all inlings which were strict and pied should fall as Jacob's hire. When Jacob went to his uncle's place out of fear of his father, his uncle Laban said that he cannot pay him any salary, but he can take care of Laban's sheep. And then they had an agreement that whichever lamb will have a stripe mark on their body will be of Jacob, when as Laban could not pay him salary. And that was the agreement. This was a way to thrive, and he was blessed, and thrift is blessing if man steal it not. Then Shylock says, when the breeding season arrived, the clever Jacob peeled certain twigs to make them look striped. He placed them on the ground so that when the ewe becomes pregnant, when she sees that, she will give birth to the stripe marking lambs. And then he says, this was a venture forth. This was the way to thrive. So, this is the way Jacob was becoming prosperous, because when the inlings gave the birth to the lamb, they all were striped mark. So, Jacob was blessed, and this blessing was entirely in the favor of Jacob. So slowly he started becoming rich, and this Jacob, these blessings or this prosperity is in the favor of Jacob. Antonio, this was a venture, sir, that Jacob served for, a thing not in his power to bring to pass. Then Antonio says, this was a risk that Jacob took. He earned this reward by his labor. The result was not in his power. It was in the hand of the providence. And thing not in the power to bring to pass, but swayed and fashioned by the hand of heaven. It was in the hand of the providence. Was this inserted to make interest good? Then Antonio asked Shylock, why are you giving all these examples? Do you want to prove you're taking interest by giving the explanation of Jacob? Or is it your gold and silver, ewes and rams? Or Shylock's ewes and rams are the gold and silver that they are increasing? Shylock, I cannot tell. I make it breed as fast, but note me senior. Then he says, that I don't know. They are the ewes or the rams, but I try to get the benefit. I always look for my profit. My wealth is multiplying. Either they are the ewes or the rams, that I don't know. Antonio, mark you this, Bassanio, the devil can cite scripture for his purpose, an evil soul producing holy witness. Then Antonio says to Bassanio, mark it, Bassanio, a devil is given an example from a religious book, from a scripture. An evil soul producing holy witness is like a villain with a smiling chick. It's just like a villain like Shylock, when he gives a devil like Shylock, when he gives the example from the scriptures, it's just like a villain with a smile on its face. Again, he gives an example, an apple which looks very delicious, juicy, reddish in color, but when you go inside the apple, you'll find it is totally rotten. Same thing with Shylock. Here he is giving example from scriptures, but go into his heart, you'll find all the devil and evil things are there in his heart. Shylock, 3,000 ducats. It is a good round sum, 3 months. From 12, then let me see the rate. Immediately Shylock changed the topic and he says, okay, 3,000 ducats for 3 months, and from 12, 3 months you asked. Okay, let me see the rate of interest. Antonio, well, Shylock, shall we be beholding to you? Then Antonio asked, okay, are you going to lend us the money, Shylock? Shylock, Senior Antonio, many a time and oft in the Rialto you have rated me. Here Shylock pours out his grievances against Antonio and said that many time in Rialto, Antonio had abused him about my money and my usance, about my business and my interest. Still have I borne it with patient shrug, but I was bearing patiently, only just shrugging my shoulder. For sufferance is the badge of all our tribes, because tolerating, enduring is the quality of the Jewish tribe. You call me misbeliever, cutthroat dog. You told me I should not be believed. I am a cutthroat dog, a villainous dog, and spit upon my Jewish gabardine. Used to spit on my Jewish dress, and for all use of that which is mine own. And for what did you abuse me? That was my money. Why you are worried? But you went on doing all those things for my business, what I was doing with my own money. Well then, it now appears you need my help. Go to then, you come to me and you say, Shylock, we would have monies, you say so. You that did void your rheum upon my beard. Okay, now it seems that Antonio needs the money. Okay, come in front of me and bow down and say, Shylock, we need money. You that did void your rheum upon my beard and foot me as you spurn a stranger cur, how do you expect to get the money? You used to spit on my face. You used to kick me as you kick the stranger dog on the road. Over your threshold as you kick out the stranger dog. As you kick the street dog which comes on your threshold. Money is your request, no? What should I say to you? Now what to say? Should I say to you, hath a dog money? Is it possible a cur can lend 3,000 ducats? You called me a dog, no? And you're asking money from a dog. Can a dog lend you the money? Or shall I bend low and in a bondman's key with bated breath and whispering humbleness? or should I bow down in front of you like a servant and in a very modest and whispering voice should say, Fear, sir, you spit on me on Wednesday last. You spurned me such a day another time. You called me a dog, and for these courtesies, I will lend you thus much money. And should I say, Yes, sir, you spat on me, you called me a dog, you kicked me, and for all your this kind of respect, I will lend you the money. Do you want me to say that? Antonio, I am as like to call thee so again, to spit on thee again, to spurn thee too. If thou wilt lend this money, lend it not. Antonio says, Whatever you say, what I did, what I said, I'll do it again. I'll kick you, I'll call you dog, I'll spit on you. And one thing, if you lend me the money, don't lend me the money like a friend. For when did friendship take a breed for barren metal of his friend? Because a friend can never take interest from another friend. But lend it rather to thine enemy, who if he break, thou mayst with better face exact the penalty. It's better you lend me the money as you lend to your enemy, so that you can take the penalty from me if I fail to repay the money. Shylock, why look you how you storm? I would be friends with you and have your love. Here Shylock is a bit scared, thinking that Antonio may go away from me. Then how can I take the revenge? So immediately he says, Why are you getting angry? Actually, I wanted to make friendship with you. I was stretching my helping hand towards you. I want to share love with you. Forget the shames that you have stained on me. Supply your present wants and take no doit of usance for my monies, and you will not hear me this kind of offer. And then he says, I will forget whatever insult you did to me. On the top of it, I am ready to supply your present need without taking any interest. This kindness I am going to show you. Bassanio, this were kindness. Really, it is a kindness without interest. Shylock, this kindness will I show. Go with me to a notary, seal me there your single bond. Here Shylock says, I shall return the same kindness which I received. Come with me to an advocate and then there give your signature. But your alone signature I need on the bond. And in a merry sport, it is only in a funny way the bond is going to be written. If you repay me not on such a day, in such a place, with some or sums as are expressed in the condition, let the forfeit be nominated for an equal pound of your fair flesh to be cut off and taken in what part of your body pleaseth me. He is ready to give him 3,000, but if Antonio fails to pay back 3,000 ducats within 3 months, then Shylock will cut a pound of flesh from any part of the body of Antonio. Antonio, contained in faith, I will seal to such a bond. Antonio is very happy and he says, I'm very happy. I'm ready to sign any bond you give, and say there is much kindness in the Jew. And I'll say the Jew has become very kind. Bassanio, you shall not seal to such a bond for me. I'll rather dwell in my necessity. But Bassanio understood the cruelty, cunningness of Shylock. He forbade his friend from signing in the bond. He said, let me be in the need. I will not go to Belmont, but you don't sign the bond, otherwise I'm going to lose my friend. Antonio, why fear not, man? I will not forfeit it. Within these 2 months, that's a month before, this bond expires. I do expect return of thrice 3 times the value of this bond. Then Antonio, here he shows his overconfidence. He says within 2 months, his ships are going to come back with the 9 times, 3 times of the wealth. So there is nothing to be afraid. He will return the money. Shylock, O Father Abraham, what these Christians are, whose own hard dealings teaches them suspect the thoughts of others. Here Shylock takes his own God's name, Abraham, the founder of the Jews. He tells, look at Abraham, these strange Christians, as they are very harsh dealings, they doubt others' behavior. Pray you tell me this, if he should break his day, what should I gain by the execution of the forfeiture? Then he tells, suppose he fails to pay back the money, what am I going to get from these pound of flesh? Is not so estimable, profitable, neither as flesh of muttons, beefs, or goats. A pound of flesh is not worthy like the mutton or the beef or the goat. So what is he going to do with a pound of flesh of a man? I say, to buy his favor. I was just saying, to get his friendship, to get his favor. I extend this friendship if you will take it, so if not, adieu. I'm ready to extend my friendship hand. If you accept it, it's well and good. If not, then bye. And for my love, I pray you wrong me not. And out of love, I'm telling you, don't misjudge me. Antonio, yes, Shylock, I will seal unto this bond. Antonio agrees. He doesn't go deep into the cruelty of Shylock. He says, I agree to sign on the bond. Shylock, then meet me forthwith at the notary. Then please meet me at notary's office. Give him direction for this merry bond, and I will go and purse the ducat straight. He has to go and meet the clerk and explain them what kind of bond has to be made, what are the conditions have to be kept, and then immediately he will come back with the money. See to me, my house left in the fearful guard. He also wants to visit his own house to get the money because he has left the house in the hand of an unsafe servant, of an unthrifty knave, of an irresponsible servant. And presently I'll be with you. After that, immediately I'll be with you. Antonio, hi thee, gentle Jew. The Hebrew will turn Christian. Here Shylock goes away because he says, Antonio says that it seems that his mind is softening. The Hebrew will turn Christian. This Jew is turning into a Christian. He grows kind. He is growing kind as a Christian. Bassanio, I like not fair terms and a villain's mind. But Bassanio understood the wickedness of Shylock. So he doesn't agree. He says, I don't like Shylock's those beautiful words. Antonio, come on. In these there can be no dismay. My ships come home a month before the day. Then he says, there is nothing to be afraid. 3 months' time we have got. 1 month before, means within 2 months, all the ships are going to come back. So what is there to be afraid? He is ready to pay back the money. So children, third scene is also over. Now what importance we find? We are here introduced to Shylock. It is an important scene because here we come to the story, that bond story. What are the bond will be written in that is introduced. We know why, we come to know why Shylock hates Christian and especially Antonio. Thank you, children.